What if I told you that we've come across this little tiny trick on Google that can change your life? You don't think so? Well, come on inside. Stick around for a minute. Let's talk about it. Let's see. Let's see if we can find this little trick, and let's see if it can't have an impact on your life. So check it out. There's a quote that I just absolutely love. It comes from Tony Robbins. Heard him say it live and in person at UPW like 4 or 5 years ago. And he said, "Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure." And it really sat heavy on me because we always think that success, or we always think that these results are going to give us fulfillment, are going to bring happiness or joy. But the truth is that there is no success. Fulfillment is truly what brings happiness and joy. But that becomes in service to others, right? It becomes in things that we can do that actually change and help people around us, whether it be our friends, our family, brother, sister, mom, dad. If you're a parent, like your children, like like putting things in place that give them the opportunity to succeed in life. That's true fulfillment for ourselves, right? You could probably relate to a couple of those. And if you don't have kids, maybe you've done something for somebody at some point, right? That imagine that person that you wrote a birthday card to and they called and they were crying because they were like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." Right? Just those little tiny things bring such happiness and joy. But what I want you to think about here is if we're trying to get to be the best version of ourselves, and sometimes we don't get true clarity on what that looks like. And so I want to bring up, if you haven't read it, Stephen Covey has the 7 habits of highly effective people. And habit number 2 is a habit that he titles Begin with the End in Mind. And in that book, in that chapter, it starts with, clear your stay, get into a quiet place, close your eyes, and I want you to picture this. I want you to picture you're on your way to a funeral, and you're walking, you park your car and you walk in, you see everybody that you know, every person that's ever come into your life ever. You're walking in and you see them sitting there in this church or cathedral or whatever you're picturing, right? This room that you're picturing. And as you sit down, you realize that this is your funeral, right? That's how that chapter starts, because you want you to begin with the end in mind. And he comes down to saying, what do you want them to say? There's several people that are going to speak. One's a family member, one's maybe one of your kids, a coworker, and somebody you went to high school with, whatever. But again, all these different phases of your life, what do you want them to say? And I think it's a really, really great analogy, but sometimes death in that morbid thing is a little bit hard for people. And so over the last couple of weeks with groups that I coach, and even individuals that I coach, and most are in some kind of business sector, right? They are of service to people. They're either selling something or they own a business of some kind and they're leading people. And so I took that, right, reading back through Covey's book and beginning with the end in mind, and understanding that success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure, and tying all these things together. And so I looked at today, and I looked at what happens in our lives today. And since the birth of the internet, if you're like me, you're on Amazon and you're placing an order or you're buying something, there's probably 8 out of 10 times that I'll go down and I'll read the reviews. I want to see what people said, right? If I'm buying a shirt, a jacket, a pair of pants, I want to see, do they fit to size? What does somebody else that's bought them have to say about it, right? I'm checking out these reviews, right? There's a company called Yelp that you're probably very familiar with, that they are built on it, right? They are the review capital for restaurants and service industries, right? They took over for a long time. They were the place to go. For why? Because they were writing reviews. You wanted to see, is this place somewhere that I should go? Is the food what they say it is as great as it looks in the pictures, right? I want to get somebody's honest opinion. And so what we did with these groups, several different groups that I coach, is we sat down, and the exercise was this. I want you to write a Google review. I want you to write it about yourself. So in the business sector, we wrote, you had a client, you sold them something. What did they say about you? Right? And so what I want you to do, if you're hearing this now and you're not in the business sector and you don't, you're not doing that, imagine people that you come in contact with. Imagine somebody that you care about, right? Imagine somebody that you've done something for that needs something from you. What they're going to write that review. What does it say? What does it say? So what's cool is I actually took a bunch of notes. And what's really interesting, and I hope you guys are going to take me up on this. Write that Google review. Write it about what do you want them to say about you. Again, I'm not asking for somebody's opinion of you because I don't give about anybody's opinion. That's not what I'm saying. But when you're providing something or when you're doing something, what do you want those people? What do I want them to say about me? This is my opinion of me. This is how I want to live, right? And the words that came out were trustworthy, knowledgeable, personable, communicate very well. They're professional, they're passionate, they're patient, helpful, great work ethic. These are all the terms over tons of people that I did this with and interviewed, that these are the words that all kept showing up over and over and over and over. You see, when we talk about values and boundaries and we talk about being the best version of ourselves, sometimes we get caught up and we're like, I don't even know what that looks like. Or sometimes when we're looking for goals or we're looking for to begin with the end in mind, we think, oh man, what do I want? How can I do this? Well, here's your opportunity. Because if you write that review, there's going to be some words that you put. And I'm going to tell you, to a person, 100% of those people, when asked the question, can you communicate better? Can you be trustworthy? Can you learn and be knowledgeable? Can you be professional and passionate and patient? See, the simple answer is yes. It's a resounding yes. And now imagine if that was my focus. You see, it doesn't have to be this big, great thing. You don't have to be the person to change the world. But can you live to those words that you describe yourself as? Write that Google review. Write it. Write it for yourself. And then the only thing you have to do, trust me on this, every morning you read it. And then every day you be it. Because you have the power to be anything you want. What are the words? What are they going to describe you as? Write that review and then make it real simple on yourself. Every morning I get up, I read it. And then every day it goes into my cells. It starts sinking in. Because maybe you don't believe all those words today. But I promise you this. The only way that you will believe it is if you see it every day, if you read it every day, and if you start to be it every day. Because every time you make that little change, every time you be that person, you just make another little vote to that subconscious that I am that person. And you do it again and you make another little vote and another little vote and another little vote. Before you know it, you have embodied and become, and you're on your journey to being the best version of you. You deserve it, and so do the people around you. So don't be afraid. Take me up on this exercise, please. Text me, write me an email, put it in one of the comments. I want to hear about it. I want to see it because I've seen what it can do for people. And this is an opportunity for it to happen for you. And there's nothing greater in the world than touching one more person. Be that person. And more than anything, be that person for someone else. Share it with them. Or tell you what, get your best friend. Write a review for them. Show them this and write it for one another and see what they say. And then put that together. And literally, get out there and be it. All right. That's what I got for you. Please, I need you to subscribe. If you're on the YouTube channel right now, please just hit subscribe. Give me a comment. Say you did. We'd love to see them. If you're hearing this on a podcast, again, if you can give us a review, that would be fantastic, right? We need them because the more we do, the more they're going to push it out. All right. I appreciate you. I love you. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're hearing this. And make today great and get out there and be the best version of you.